Welcome Park Facebook group for the tip of the week. This week we are going to be talking about machine backups, why you would want to do a machine backup, how often, and how to do it. With me today, I have Josh Ockman, one of our friendly tech support technicians. Welcome, Josh.
Thanks, Joe.
Today we're going to use our Training Center Voyager and our Training Center 2000 Series Titan as examples of how to do the backup. Josh, with the Voyager, why would you take a machine backup and what's included in that backup?
Well, as far as Voyager goes, it's your machine data. All your parameters, everything will show you how to grab all them folders. So if something happens to your computer, then like let's say you get a power spike, it fries the computer, or sudden loss of power, if your power goes out to your building or something like that, can lose that data in any one of these computers. And as far as Voyager, it will be showing how to get all the parameters back for your setup features, so where 00 is, all that stuff, and also your tools for the Voyager. Router bit data, all that stuff will be in these folders. So if your computer does crash, we can get you a new computer in there and just drop that file in there and you'll be up and running in no time.
Josh, if you didn't have a machine backup, how long do you think it would take to set up a typical Voyager? You know, how one of our customers have them set up? Are we talking without a backup, minutes, hours, days? What's your estimate?
Usually people that, if they do have an issue with a backup or that do not have a backup that need to set up a Voyager, I would say about half a day to a day, depending on how quick they go and just understanding everything that you need to do for the setup.
Perfect. Well, to me, that just proves this is a real important tip of the week. Please do, pay attention, learn from what Josh is showing us, because if you don't have this, that's a half a day to a day where you can't cut with this machine. And if you have this backup, it's probably...
If I had to put a timeline on it, Joe, I would say about a half hour to make sure everything's downloaded and then just to double check everything to make sure you're good.
That's a pretty good return on that 5 minutes of time. And I think you recommend backing it up weekly. Why don't we just kick it over to you? You can show us your team viewered into our Training Center Voyager right now, and you can maybe walk us through that process. And then at the end, maybe talk a little bit about physically, what would you do with the backup? Where would you put it? And how would you kind of take care of it, so to speak?
So now we are on the Voyager. I just loaded the program. A lot of you probably noticed you can do a backup from the Voyager, from the front end program, the Park Industries program here. And what you can do is just go to your advanced setup tab. And then right here, they will have a backup that will back it up to another drive on the system to make sure all your parameters are saved. But if that computer completely fails and that computer is toast, you do run a risk of not being able to back up anything, or not having a backup then. So I personally recommend having a backup on a USB stick, and just getting a cheap USB stick that you can keep right with that machine, or one that's a little bigger that you could have with all your machines, and just label them the Voyager and the serial number so we make sure we get the correct data going with the correct machine. So to start out here, I would just create a new folder here, label it backup. And then I like to normally do dates on mine, so you do realize how old this backup is with that. And then all the information you need will be on your C drive here. Okay, so to get your backup, what you want to do, there's 3 main folders you want to do. I would take the CNC data folder. You don't want to click and drag because that will pull the entire folder out. So just do a copy and paste here. I'll open up my backup, paste it in there. Should just take a little bit here, less than a minute usually to get all this. We'll go back to our C drive here, take our Park Industries folder, paste that in, and the Voyager folder. This one will take a little bit longer. The manuals are in here, the PDF manuals, so it takes a little bit longer the first time. But if you're just doing update backups, you can, it'll take a lot less time because it's not overwriting, or it's just overwriting most of it. So those are the 3 main folders that you need for the backup. You can keep this on your desktop. Otherwise, like I said, I do recommend, just in case, keeping it on a separate USB. So just insert your USB, I do not have one inserted in here right now, but just find your USB stick and you can click and drag it to that. And that it wraps up what you need for the Voyager.
Yeah, that looks pretty slick, Josh. It didn't take you very long at all. And if that's going to save you anywhere from a half day to a day, should you have one of them catastrophic failures of the computer or a sudden power loss where maybe it corrupts the memory, this is really, really going to save some time, get you back up cutting material. Now that we've done the Voyager, we have a Titan also. You know, the 2000 series Titans, there's a lot of tool data on that. Do you want to walk us through, maybe first off, tell us, you know, about how long do you think it takes to take this backup? Should you do this one weekly also? And how much time are you going to save if you have a backup, should you need it someday?
So here we are on a Titan Fab Center. This backup data will be the same for all the Titan 2000 and 1000 series, unless you have a early 1000 series. So all the S120 drives, but everything should look like this. And we'll walk through on what will be different on the 1000. But so first thing I would do is take a backup folder, or create your backup folder. Open up your drives here, go to your C drive, and we're just taking the entire CNC router data folder. Here you can see, if you do open it up, you can see your tool library is in there. If you do have an older Titan, your tool library will be located right underneath the CNC router data. So you would want to grab both CNC router data and the tools. But in this case, we can just grab this one. We'll copy it. Just remember, copy and paste. Don't click and drag or cut. Otherwise, the machine will not work. We'll open it up, paste it into this folder. Paste it into that folder. It should just take a quick minute here to download everything. And now you have your full backup for your CNC router here. You can click that, drag it to a USB, keep that in a safe spot, label it with serial numbers, dates, anything you guys need to there. Yeah, and that pretty much wraps up the backups here. CNC routers are very important. Everybody knows how much time it takes to set up a tool library and setting up all your tools. Everything is controlled in there. So if something happens to that C drive and you do lose that data, you could be talking days of downtime trying to get all your tools back up and going on there.
Wow. If you could save days, Josh, with what you just showed us, honestly, it's not even 5 minutes. It was probably a minute or two to take that backup. Do you recommend this one be weekly also?
I definitely recommend weekly on CNC routers. As far as CNC saws and stuff, that isn't quite as important because your parameters, you're not changing. Mainly all you have to do is touch your blades off or remeasure your blades or rotor bits, and that would get you going again. But you're constantly updating your tool data on your CNC router. And that's the big thing, is trying to keep that accurate.
Wonderful. Well, thank you so much, Josh, for taking us through. Just on a side note, you're team viewered into the Fab Center that's at the Park Industries Training Center right now. You must be, what, 10, 20, 30 miles away. So this is a real good example of what a customer, when they need help from you, might see on their end also. Is that correct?
Yeah, TeamViewer is a very helpful tool we use. So we can monitor the machines. If somebody is having issues and they don't realize what's going on, we can jump on. We see the screen exactly how you see it. So we can watch for tool loads, access loads, all this stuff, watching inputs, outputs if you're having issues. We use TeamViewer on a daily basis.
So for everybody out there, that's kind of a nice segue. Our next Facebook Live tip of the week is going to be just how to keep your TeamViewer current with a version that's working on the different iterations of Windows on your machine, how to launch it, how to have it ready. So when you call tech support and you need someone like Josh to TeamViewer it and help you work through something, we can make that process a little quicker for you. Thank you for watching the tip of the week. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out to us. Remember, we have a self-help website at parkindustries.com that all of this information is being saved to. It also has a lot of how-to guides and quick tip videos that maybe weren't broadcast on Facebook Live, but they're very valuable. Them are the repeat questions that people like Josh get, and they try to do a document or a video to help you guys. Again, parkindustries.com for them guides, and thank you for your time today. Have a good day.